Bessemer City Schools finally hands over the letter sent by State Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey to the school system. The letter outlines various concerns like board governance, finances, and facilities. Hello, I'm Brenda Ledun.
And I'm Muriel Bailey. The letter clearly states if Mackey does not approve of Bessemer City Schools Board of Education response, the state will intervene. ABC 3340's Megan Scarano got that letter tonight. And Megan, what else does Mackey say in his letter to the board?
Muriel, Dr. Mackey says during a review by the Deputy State Superintendent, Dr. Daniel Boyd made him aware of issues of major concern that impede student success and district operations. ABC 3340 has been asking for this letter since Tuesday night. I finally was given a copy by Board President Lee Jones. The letter also outlines concerns of personnel and student learning. Bessemer City Schools Board of Education met on Thursday night for a work session. Days after the news broke, the state could potentially take over the district. Superintendent Dr. Dana Ariola still dodging questions on the letter and why Wednesday's meeting was canceled. You don't have any comment after tonight's board meeting?
No, it's a typical meeting.
Do you know why the meeting yesterday was canceled?
It's not.
You don't know why it was canceled?
No, I don't.
Did you all have a visit from state auditors?
On yesterday. I can't give that information out.
Okay. Dr. Ariola said I'd have to get a copy of the letter from Board President Lee Jones. He did give me the letter following the meeting. It states the district must provide the state with an adequate detailed plan to address deficiencies, proof of substantial academic improvement, and a timetable to complete the plan. In the letter, Mackey claims the board canceled 6 meetings in the first 6 months of this year. Then, the board did not approve a budget or a capital plan until more than a month after the 2023 deadline. And school facilities are clearly dilapidated. The board has until July 24th to respond to Dr. Mackey. Do you know why the meeting yesterday was canceled?
It was a capital planning meeting. It wasn't. It was because the protocol wasn't followed. We supposed to have included the people, the community, and we didn't inform them. So we rescheduled it.
Now, your all's plan to Mr. Mackey is due by the 24th. Will you all be ready by then?
Oh yeah, we completed that the other night.
You have already laid out your plan to respond to Dr. Mackey?
Yes.
Can we see it?
No.
Is that public?
We haven't put it together yet.
Mackey also says the district failed to fill critical positions in a timely manner. He goes on to say the lack of student performance is a direct result of the poor governance.
Megan, we've been trying to access Bessemer City School Board meetings online. Now, I understand they clarified why the public can't do that right now.
Muriel, during the technology report delivered tonight at the meeting, it was revealed Bessemer City school system was hijacked just a few days ago. This hijack hit their Google Workspace, which includes their YouTube account.
Bessemer City Schools Board of Education is set to meet in just 2 hours. The board was sent a letter from State Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey about issues it needs to fix or face a potential takeover.
And these areas of concern range from the board finances to dilapidated facilities. ABC 3340's Megan Scarano has been on top of this story for you. Megan, the board has until the 24th of this month to respond to Dr. Mackey's concerns.
Brenda, the state wants a response from the Bessemer City Board of Education about how they plan to address the issues outlined in this letter. And if that response is deemed inadequate, the state will intervene. I asked Board President Lee Jones about the status of this plan, and this was his response at Thursday's board meeting. Your all's plan to Mr. Mackey is due by the 24th. Will you all be ready by then?
Oh yeah, we completed that the other night.
You have already laid out your plan to respond to Dr. Mackey?
Yes.
Can we see it?
No.
Is that public?
We haven't put it together yet.
Now, we plan to be in the board's meeting tonight and ask if that plan is ready and if we can see it. Live in Bessemer, Megan Scarano, ABC 3340 News. Are you available this evening to talk about the plan and the response to Dr. Mackey?
No, not right now.
Not right now?
Not right now.
Will the public be able to see that plan before it needs to be submitted on July 24th?
It will.
When?
When we finish it.
It's not finished.
No, it's not.
When will it be finished?
I can't tell you. I wish I knew.
Why didn't the board approve a roofing or an HVAC project to happen?
It wasn't done properly.
Why wasn't it done properly? You don't know?
So are you
You're the board president.
I know. Please.
Why couldn't that be approved tonight? It needs to be done, Dr. Mackey says.
It's going to be done.
But how can it get done before the start of school? It's already July.
I mean, it wouldn't be done anyway if we had voted on it tonight. Before school.
Why wasn't the board able to get it together to vote for tonight? What wasn't ready for the board to say yes?
Protocol wasn't followed.
ABC 3340 is working for you to get answers from the Bessemer City School System regarding ongoing concerns from the state. If left unaddressed, it could result in the school district being taken over. We have team coverage right now. Gracie Johnson with background on the board members, but we start with Aaron Wise. Aaron, the school board leaders met with the superintendent in Birmingham just hours ago.
Brenda's school board members as well as the superintendent of Bessemer City Schools arrived here at this office building around 3 to 3:30 this afternoon. They stayed here for about a little over an hour before they left. After that meeting, I was following them out of the building actually as they were leaving, asking them how the meeting went, if they had come to a solution with Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey, the state superintendent. Board member Ramika Thompson said only time will tell. Anthony Williams believed it was a positive meeting and believes there's a path forward to maintaining control of the district. Sam Morris, who was visibly upset at last night's meeting by the decision not to move forward with an architect firm for roof and HVAC repairs, had this to say.
The state is going to work with the Board of Education.
So there's a pathway forward for y'all to maintain control of the school district.
Yeah, there's a pathway to work together.
Morris also told us that we would be getting more information about what was discussed in today's meeting. Live in Birmingham, Aaron Wise, ABC 3340 News.
The board also met earlier today. That meeting focused on capital projects. One of the biggest challenges facing the district is addressing what State Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey called dilapidated schools. The board was unable to come to an agreement earlier this week for an architect to oversee roof and AC issues within several elementary schools. The dilapidated schools weren't just highlighted by the Alabama State Department of Education. The American Federation of Teachers also asking repeatedly for repairs to be made. ABC 3340's Aaron Wise requested access to see the issues at the building herself.
This is a roof at Jonesboro Elementary School. Multiple temporary patches, raised nails, buckled shingles. Bessemer City Schools leadership slated roof replacements at the school for 2024 based on their capital project plan from 2023. We requested access to the inside of the building. Children were not on campus to our knowledge. We were told we couldn't enter because a company was doing duct work. An architect to oversee the project work at Jonesboro has not been approved by the board, similar to projects at West Hills, Abrams, and Hart Elementary Schools. Tuesday, the board did not move forward with an architect recommended by the district's leadership team. There was confusion around the procedure used to make the recommendation, leading to this moment.
So there goes the roofs again. Again.
No, that is not.
Central Alabama Federation of Teachers President Erica Hughes says a lot of the issues within the district come from procedural problems. Hughes shared these photos of Bessemer City Schools facilities. She says the photos were taken this year. The organization represents around 350 Bessemer school employees.
Students have sat in classrooms where ceiling tiles have fallen right beside them, missing their heads within inches. Teachers have fallen due to leaking roofs. Also, There's an elementary school that was shut down due to mold.
At an annual capital planning meeting Thursday, school leaders discussed current and future project priorities. I asked when the elementary school's items would be discussed again.
So it will be a recommendation on our upcoming board agenda in August. And so I'm pretty confident that we'll have the information to the board that they need to make a decision to approve it. So we're looking forward to that.
Will that follow the procedure correctly this time versus what happened at the meeting on Tuesday?
I think that's a discussion that we'll have with the board to make sure that they have the appropriate information that they need to provide a vote for it.
Consolidation was also mentioned at the meeting.
To keep putting money into these old buildings, we need to build a new building. We may be able to consolidate some schools to eliminate some of these old buildings.
Superintendent Dana Areola says that demographic studies would need to be done, as well as looking at long-term enrollment data to truly engage in a conversation about consolidation. She and Board President Lee Jones tells me consolidation was not a part of the discussion with State Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey yesterday. In Bessemer, Aaron Wise, ABC 3340 News.
Mackey says after a couple of years, the system would be turned back over to local Board of Education. But for now, he thinks this is the best and the only way forward for Bessemer City Schools. Dr. Mackey also told us Bessemer City Schools Board of Education is considering a resolution to consent to the state takeover. Board President Lee Jones told me again on Thursday night their response to the state is not ready yet, but it would be due on July 24th if they chose to respond. Some of the issues Mackey outlined in his letter aren't issues that just surfaced overnight, like dilapidated facilities or student learning. Former Bessemer Superintendent Dr. Autumn Jeter is the current Assistant State Superintendent of Support Services. We asked if Mackey had concerns, why wasn't this letter of warning sent any sooner?
We've certainly been gathering information for some time. As I said, even when Dr. Jeter was at Bessemer, she and I had some conversations about my concerns with board governance and their spending down the ESSER funds and those kinds of things. So that has been going on for some time. But remember, we're working with 139 traditional school boards, more than 11 local charter school boards, and I've always got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, usually 5 or 6 local boards that I have concerns about, and we work with them to try to address those concerns. The last-ditch effort, if you will, is a state intervention.
Mackey says he received reports about Bessemer Board of Education's meeting on Tuesday, which you see here, when the board voted not to move forward with HVAC and roofing projects. Board member Sam Morris threw his glasses after the project was not approved. He said the dialogue between board members was concerning. And on the news at 5, hear more from Mackey about if he feels Bessemer schools are safe for children and staff as the start of the school year is just around the corner. Brenda, the Bessemer Board of Education voted to just consent to a state intervention in their board meeting that just wrapped up a few moments ago. The vote was unanimous between all the board members who were present, and after the meeting, we did have a chance to talk to Board President Lee Jones. He tells us he likes to think of this as a partnership between the state and the Bessemer Board of Education. I'll have more on what he has to say tonight and what this means for Bessemer City Schools tonight on the news at 10. Live in Bessemer, Megan Scarano, ABC 3340 News.
ABC 3340's Megan Scarano continued to stay on top of this story for us since the beginning. And Megan, you were at tonight's called board meeting.
Muriel, tonight's meeting didn't last long and the Board of Education got right to the point. The board approved a resolution to agree to the state intervention. And for the first time tonight, Board President Lee Jones sat down with us to answer our questions. He said this is the best way forward for Bessemer City Schools.
Whereas the Bessemer Board of Education agrees it will comply with any and all directives from the state superintendent during the intervention period.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The first thing on Bessemer City Schools' Monday night board meeting, consenting to the state intervention. It's what State Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey told us in a one-on-one interview he fully expected the board to do.
After our meeting Wednesday afternoon, I think that's where most of the board members are leaning.
Once the meeting was over, we asked board members for comment about agreeing to the state intervention. Why'd you vote for the state to intervene?
It's important for us to remember the needs of our students first, because that's what I'm here for. So I look forward to our facilities being up to date and our students having everything they need.
Then we asked Board President Lee Jones. What do you hope to see over the next 2 years with this state support and this guidance?
I'm gonna give a message after 5.
I'm sorry?
I'm gonna give a briefing after 5.
All right, do you mind just answering a couple questions for us now since we have you about...
Okay.
And he did. How did the conversations go from consenting to the state takeover to responding with a plan and maybe fixing it on your own?
Well, we had started on the plan, and we had started on it, but that's when the superintendent came in and asked us about the takeover, not the takeover, the intervention. So he still wants to see the plan.
Jones says he doesn't consider this a state takeover, but a partnership with the state. How did we get here? How did we get to the point where the state needed to send a letter and a warning of intervention?
Well, I mean, we got there because we as a board wasn't doing the correct things that we needed to be doing.
Now the Bessemer Board of Education waits for the state board to cast their vote on whether or not to intervene.
Our first priority is the students, and whatever it takes for them, we're willing to do it.
The State Board of Education will vote on the intervention in its meeting in August. Brenda. In the letter dated for July 3rd, Dr. Mackey gave the Bessemer Board of Education 21 days to respond with a plan on how to fix 5 key areas of major concern. The letter detailed issues with student learning, finances, facilities, personnel, and board governance. Nearly 3 weeks after the letter was sent to the board voted to consent to the state intervention. On July 11th, the Bessemer City Schools Board of Education met for a work session. Days after the news broke, the state could potentially take over the district. After repeated requests for 2 days for a copy of the letter sent by Dr. Mackey to the board, I finally got my hands on it. Did you all have a visit from state auditors?
On yesterday. I can't give that information out.
Now, your all's plan to Mr. Mackey is due by the 24th. Will you all be ready by then?
Oh yeah, we completed that the other night.
You have already laid out your plan to respond to Dr. Mackey?
Yes.
Can we see it?
No.
Is that public?
We haven't put it together yet.
The board met again on July 16th. Things got tense when the board failed to move forward with HVAC and roofing projects at elementary schools in a 3-to-1-to-1-to-1 vote.
Point of order. Mr. Chair, Mr. Marks, Mr. Jones, you need to address that.
Why does the state want to take us over? Because we can't put a roof on the building.
In Dr. Mackey's letter, he claims school facilities are clearly dilapidated. Do you have a comment on why you voted no to the HVAC and the roof projects?
No, ma'am, I don't.
You don't want to tell parents why you voted to not accept that project?
Well, I don't have a clear.
Why wasn't the board able to get it together to vote for it tonight? What wasn't ready for the board to say yes?
The protocol wasn't followed.
The next day, Bessemer board members met with State Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey in Birmingham.
Is there a plan in place? Did y'all come up with a plan with Dr. Mackey discussing?
Later that same week, we were granted roof access at Jonesboro Elementary School. We saw multiple temporary patches, raised nails, and buckled shingles. We were told we couldn't enter the building because a company was doing duct work. Then we sat down with Dr. Mackey, where he said he plans to recommend an intervention to the state board. He feels this is the only way forward.
I've always got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, usually 5 or 6 local boards that I have concerns about, and we work with them to try to address those concerns. The last-ditch effort, if you will, is a state intervention.
On July 22nd, 2 days before the Bessemer board needed to respond to the state, the board voted to consent to the state intervention. Board President Lee Jones finally sat down with us to answer our questions.
We got there because we as a board wasn't doing the correct things that we needed to be doing.
The state recently released their audit of Bessemer City Schools. Much of what is highlighted in the audit complements what Mackey outlined in his letter. including failing to comply with Alabama's competitive bid law and public works law. The state board will vote whether to intervene with Bessemer City Schools in their August board meeting.
Alabama State School Board votes unanimously to approve state intervention at Bessemer City Schools.
The Bessemer City School Board voted in favor of intervention last month. State Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey says intervention started this afternoon at the district. ABC 3340's Aaron Wise explains what the first priorities will be. Aaron?
Several months working with Bessemer City Schools to try to help them get much of their business in order. We have met some difficulty. They have had some very dysfunctional school board meetings.
That dysfunction leading to the lack of action on critical items from maintenance of school facilities, timely budget approvals, and filling positions, all causing inadequate support for students. With the State Board of Education's approval, the Chief Administrative Officer was named and intervention began at Bessemer City Schools. The first goal, making sure building maintenance is being done. HVAC and roofing problems were highlighted in State Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey's letter in July.
We think that can be done pretty quickly. Certainly Bessemer has the funds to do it. I can approve those construction contracts, housekeeping contracts, all those things myself.
Mackey says consolidating schools is always on the table, but at this time doesn't seem like it will be needed for Bessemer. The state will focus on ensuring the district's finances are correct, student success, and ultimately training the board to control the system again. Dr. Mackey believed that the state would be with Bessemer City Schools for 2 years. It would take another recommendation from the state superintendent and state board approval to release the school district from intervention. In Montgomery, Aaron Wise, ABC 3340 News.